Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Robb Ellis. Thank you for stopping in here on WTHR Plus. Want to give you an update on what we're expecting with the winter system. Now, some of you have already seen some snow, and we are seeing some problems, but it's not the same story for everyone. In fact, we're seeing a little bit of a break here in some of the heavier snowfall, especially south of Indy, and that may give us a break for a few hours before another batch is expected to roll through. So don't think we're done. Don't think because it's not snowing that the system is not going to bring any more snow. We do expect a little bit more. Want to dive into a couple of things. I'm going to show you some traffic cameras, going to show you what to expect for the rest of the evening and into Sunday, because I think this is a complicated system and it bears a little bit of time to talk about what's happening. The heaviest snow has started to drift to the north, although there's another batch moving in from the west. What we're also tracking is that there's a break before more snow moves in. I know you don't see as much on radar here, but in just a moment I'm going to explain why there's actually a lot of snow that's still falling in the southern part of Illinois that will likely move our way sometime after around 5 or 6 during the late afternoon and into the early evening. Thankfully, getting that little bit of a break, and this could be good news because, you know, road treatment takes time for it to actually work as cars move over it and also as the snow falls, and that could give us just enough of a break so that when the next round moves through, we have a little bit more of that treatment able to melt some of the snow. Any break in between some of the snow bands that are rolling through, that's going to help. This heavier batch, though, is lifting to the north, and I want to kind of show you what we've seen so far because there are some trouble spots when it comes to traffic. Now, this is 465 on the north side. This is near Ditch Road. Overall, not so bad, but you do see snow coating some of the roadways in between the lanes. Not as much traffic flowing, so they're starting to see some accumulation here. I think as the snow rate shuts down for an hour or two, this will probably improve in a big way as that treatment works. Temperatures are still in the upper 20s, so this is the prime temperature range for road treatment. If we were talking about temperatures in the teens, road treatment doesn't work as well, but things I think are pretty optimal. That's not to say we are without problems. This is a frame grab from about maybe 20 minutes or so ago. This is I-70. This is westbound near Terre Haute. So we're talking about the western part of the state. We understand that this was several accidents involving several vehicles, as many as 30 vehicles, I'm told. But keep in mind that this is going to take a long time to clear. And NDOT tells us, state police tell us that this may take as long as 6 hours to clear this part of the interstate. If you have plans to travel to the western part of the state, especially if it's going to be on Interstate 70, ill-advised. Do not do it. You will not be able to get through to Terre Haute because Interstate 70, at least on Interstate 70, has this to deal with. That is still causing a backup a little farther down the line. Let me show you where that is. By the way, this is the camera I showed you a little bit earlier. We did have a little bit of orange on the map here where the snow was causing some slowdowns, but things have actually improved a bit now that we're getting a break in the snow. And then farther to the south and west, this is where that shutdown is located. It's before you get to Terre Haute, so you may have to take an alternate route here. This is 40. That's probably going to be your best bet if you have to travel, but there's more snow coming in, so this too will start to become snow covered. It's really going to be difficult travel. I think once we get through the next couple of hours, we may have that break, and then once we get into 5 or 6 o'clock or so, we'll probably see the snow rates pick back up. There's a live picture from downtown right now. The radar looking active, but notice that gap in the radar. Most of the heaviest snow is to the north, and then to the south you get a bit of a break. But look to the west, back to Terre Haute, where we said we had those issues with traffic. That is moving our way. And temperature-wise, we'll go to the temperature map just to show you that, yeah, take a look. 31 is where we sit right now. We actually dropped a bit and then came back up. And part of that was because of that heavier snow that was coming down, just enough to lower the temperatures. And now we're starting to see these above freezing temperatures start to creep to the north. Even if the temperatures get up into 35, 36, we can still have snow falling and still cause problems. And the ground temperatures are on the cooler side. Keep that in mind as well. Visibility, especially to the north where the snow is coming down more heavily, this will really give you just an idea of where the snow is falling the heaviest at the moment. Again, a bit of a break here in Indy. Some good news there. It will help us as the next wave arrives. Let's talk about what happens once we get through the afternoon, now that we've set the stage. What we're watching is the area to the west. And as I broaden the view, you can see that, yeah, there's still a good bit of moisture here. In fact, the heaviest moisture has yet to arrive, the bulk of what we were expecting. Now, farther to the south, it's falling as rain, but once it gets into Illinois, this is all changing over to snow. In fact, the intensity of the precipitation is actually helping to pull some of the cooler air down, and that's allowing this to fall as snow, as opposed to the rain where it's a little farther to the south. In fact, you can see see how this rain-snow line dips to the south where the rainfall or snowfall rates are the heaviest, and then it comes back up just a bit. I think we're going to see all of this move through sometime around 5 or 6, and that's when we'll likely pick up our most significant amount of snow, the bulk of the precipitation that we're expecting. I'll start with a larger view in case anyone is traveling or knows someone that's going to be traveling, and then I'll do this again in the shorter view. So here it comes through. This is that bulk of the precipitation that we're talking about. That should arrive sometime between 5 and 9 this evening, but some of it's going to be transitioning to rain at some point. In fact, look at Louisville, 46 by 7 p.m. Meanwhile, Indy's still at 32. There's a lot of variability that can happen here, and I'll be honest, if there's some uncertainty in the forecast, it's this most critical part of the forecast where the rates are going to be heaviest of either rain or snow, and that rain-snow line may drift just a bit. It could really make the difference between 4 inches of snow and wet pavement over the course of a couple of miles. I think we're going to get into that kind of a situation once we get into the afternoon. That system moves by, and by midnight or just after midnight tonight, we've all changed to rain, or at least that's the expectation, to change to rain as the temperatures get up close to 40. But watch this. I'm going to set this in motion, and I'll show you this in a little bit of a closer view. Very quickly, the temperatures are going to drop so that by 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, we're back down into the 20s. Which means that any of that slush, any of that snow that's melted or kind of turned into a slush will refreeze pretty quickly, especially if there's no treatment down. That means the roads are just going to be a sheet of ice, especially if there's been no treatment. If there's treatment, this is good news. I don't think the rain will be heavy enough to wash away the treatment. It should be able to actually do its job and work. And then once we get into Sunday afternoon, temperatures are going to remain cold. We may get a couple of snow showers Sunday afternoon, but I don't think it's going to be enough to add substantial accumulation. It may add a little coating here and there, but it shouldn't add additional accumulation. Let's get in a little closer and show you that exact same model run. Here it is. We get that break, and I think that break lasts to about maybe 5 or so. Then we'll start to see the rates pick back up between 5, 6 to 7. We may even get some bursts here that pull that rain-snow line farther to the south. So what we were thinking is the temperatures are going to warm up over the next several hours, but if the snow rates can overcome that, they can actually bring the colder air down to the surface. And we now think that that could be the case, especially between 6 and 7, as you see the temperatures drop a bit, even farther to the south, before they start to warm up again. Once the snow rates slow down, then that rain-snow line can begin to overtake us sometime between, let's say, 8 and 10 o'clock or so. Temperatures will be warming up, and I think once we get past midnight, everyone just about will switch over to rain. Unfortunately, this is going to be falling on top of any snow that's accumulated on any roadways that are already pretty slick, and there will be a short window where the temperatures will get up into the upper 30s to near 40 before very quickly dropping. I mean, I think between the hours of, say, 1 a.m. and 6 a.m., we could go from near 40 to say 27, 28 or so, and that's really going to very quickly freeze over any locations that have not been treated or that have not dried out. And I don't think we're going to see a lot of drying between those hours. Temperatures on Sunday are going to stay in the 20s for the most part. We may just briefly pop up to around 30 degrees, but it is not going to get above freezing for the most part. And we could see a couple of extra snow showers go into that. Still sticking to this forecast. We really have not adjusted this very much. And if you're looking outside and you're in Indy, you're going, hang on a second. The snow has stopped, and I don't have very much. The car might be covered in a ½ an inch of snow, but I really don't know if we're going to make it to this 2 to 4. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we actually will see some additional accumulation. As I've been saying this entire week, this is going to be kind of a little bit here, melt a little bit there, melt a little bit there, and melt. Those locations to the north where the melting doesn't occur or doesn't occur as quickly, the totals are really going to stack up. South of Indy, this may be a little bit difficult to realize or even visualize, as a lot of it's going to be melting or turning to slush as it falls or in between these breaks. A couple of the traffic cameras there we're looking at. Here's one. This is 70 westbound near that Terre Haute accident that we were talking about, multiple accident. Good news here. There are no injuries with that accident from state police. We've heard that, but it may mean that Interstate 70 near Terre Haute is going to be shut down potentially for as long as 6 hours. And take a look at this camera. Here's Interstate 69. This is also, oh boy, you're talking about slow-moving traffic. I can see it moving on the right side of the screen. Left side of the screen, I'm not seeing any traffic, but it may just also be moving slowly enough that we just really are going to have some difficult travel times. We've told you that this is really going to be a difficult time to travel over the next several hours. As far as what to expect beyond that, well, the temperatures are not going to get above freezing for most of the day tomorrow. In fact, I think the warmest temperature will probably happen after midnight. For the Sunday forecast, take a look. Here we go. Temperatures dropping into the 20s. Those temperatures, say that again for me. I'm getting word that in Huntington there's a pretty significant pileup, as many as, did you say 15 cars involved? Yeah, so if you're in those areas, again, we're going to hear more and more about this. The interstates are going to become slick pretty quickly. So near Huntington, we have an accident where we're seeing some interstates shut down. We also have near Terre Haute, we're going to have some issues there probably for the next 6 hours or so. Let me quickly get through the forecast. I'll show you some of those traffic cameras yet again here in a moment. Just wanted to show you 7-day. We have a couple of extra chances for rain Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures staying near freezing for the next week or so. It is not going to warm up anytime soon. Indy looks good for now. We have a break. If you're just joining us again, just a little bit of a break before the bulk of this arrives in another couple of hours. Some of the other areas, Carmel looks beautiful there at the Chris Kendall Market as folks are out enjoying what has turned into not as snowy an afternoon, but expecting snow to return. Seeing some snow falling there on the Country Club of Indianapolis. Getting a break now for the next couple of hours before the next round of snow moves in. Morse Lake, I've also been watching that camera, and the visibility has certainly improved there. Bainbridge, we're also seeing some concerns there. Connorsville, not so bad. Again, most of this has fallen as a little bit of rain. If we want to go back to that traffic camera that you had there, Colin, for me, this is Interstate 69. This is, again, near Huntington. We're looking at the traffic that is backed up from what I am told now is a 15-car pileup. Add that to the pileup that's happening in the western part of the state, on 70 westbound. That's the traffic that you're looking at here from this camera. This is the ongoing backup that's probably going to have Interstate 70 near Terre Haute shut down for at least 6 hours, we're told by state police. Notice on the radar, there is a break. There is a little bit of a break, especially south of Indy. Now, if you're north of Indy, say from Lafayette to Kokomo to Marion, you do have some heavier snow falling, but you also should get a bit of a break once we get through the next couple of hours. After that, things will definitely change up, and we're going to see more of these issues like we're seeing on the interstate here. Some snow-covered roadways. The ground temperatures are actually on the colder side. Typically on these early events, the ground temperatures are warm, snow falls, and it doesn't cause as many problems on the roadways. This is a bit of a different setup. We've had cold air in place, especially the last couple of nights. Ground temperatures have been sufficiently warm that these interstates are getting snow covered very quickly, and that will likely continue to be the case. This is that 70 westbound accident that we've been talking about. This is a frame grab from about maybe 20 or 30 minutes or so ago. This is 70 westbound. Terre Haute would be over in this direction, up ahead and to the right. This is just before you get to Terre Haute, maybe 10, 15 miles from the state line here in Vigo County. You can see it's actually mile marker 15, so it's 15 miles from the state line. This is what happened, and it's going to take some time to clear all this. Now, we understand there are no injuries with this, but it is going to involve multiple vehicles that it's going to take time to get them out of there before they can open up that interstate. And then they have to treat it. Keep in mind, they don't want this just to open up and then have more cars slide off. It has to be treated and make sure that that treatment is working. As always, we're going to keep you updated right here on WTHR Plus. We'll also have updates hourly right here, as well as on our newscast at 6 p.m. So make sure you keep it tuned right here. I'm going to be here all through the afternoon. We'll keep you updated on any additional traffic concerns. Getting a bit of a break in Indy right now. More snow is expected to arrive in a couple of hours.